Welcome to the Page by Page Book Club. I'm your host, Paige Imprint, and I bring you weekly book club meetings wherever you get your podcasts. Oh my gosh, guys, we're so back. I am truly, if you can't hear it in my voice, beyond elated, excited, happy to be back at the Page by Page Book Club. It has been 12 weeks, 3 months, baby. Here's the thing. Your girl burned out. Not on the podcast necessarily, but just on work in general. I feel like we discuss it ad nauseum, so I'm not going to get into it too much. But I did turn reading into my full-time job in May of 2025. Dream come true. Could not be happier. There's nothing that I could ever want more for my life. So let's start there. But when you turn what you love into what you make money from, what you do for work, it is a completely different ball game. Like I knew this was going to be the case. And many people end up commenting this when they're kind of commenting on my job. They're like, I don't think I could do this because reading is my escape. And that is absolutely something to think about if you're considering making something bookish your full-time job. While it is still my escape and it's something I do for fun and something I love so much, it's also my job. And I have to clock in. And there's no time to... Now, luckily, I'm not a mood reader, and we'll discuss that at a later time, but I have to read what I need to read when I need to read it, and I need to read often. And on top of that, lots of work. And editing a podcast takes time, y'all. Like, a lot of it. So, we're back. All that to say, and I'm so happy to be here. Because we haven't talked since October 15th, I'm going to just do a little recap of what I've read since we last talked. Here's the deal. October, great month. November, great month. December, read 3 books. I needed a break. Your girl needed a break. I burned out. It was bad, but we'll talk about it all. We're just going to dive into the books I read. This is a reading wrap-up on steroids. Let's chat about what I've been reading, y'all. Welcome back. Okay, let's get over to Goodreads and we'll dive straight in. I think that this is the best way to go. I ended the year last year having read about 136 books, I would say. I ended up losing track a little bit. A lot of that has to do with I will read a book in the alpha phase, meaning like the very, very first draft with the author, and then I'll read it again as an arc. And I did a very poor job of marking those reading experiences twice, which I should have. So that's the problem. That's kind of what happened there. So, yeah, that's what happened there. I'm trying to think of where we last talked. I think the last time we chatted was regarding The Lair, and then maybe briefly we discussed Redemption Ranch, Lena Hendricks. Should we start there? I think we should. Redemption Ranch swept my year. It was the single most unique book series I have ever read in my life. It is mafia cowboy romance. Yeah, dude. Mafia and cowboy. Here's how. So the entire series takes place on a ranch that is designed for people in witness protection and their federal agents to live on and work at instead of having to live out of safe houses while the witnesses are awaiting their trial. So it's like a full functioning cattle ranch with like protection elements, and the entire like town that this ranch is in are like regular people, but they're aware of the ranch and they're very protective of the people on the ranch. Like, it is so sweet, so good. Like, I'm obsessed. So the first book is actually between a witness and a new to the ranch federal agent. So it's like very forbidden, very opposites attract. He's former mafia turned cowboy. It's the like truest mafia cowboy book of the series. And then the second one is his brother, who is running to this cattle ranch for safety, and he enters into a marriage of convenience with this girl who, the reason he's going to the cattle ranch, she was involved in that incident and he wants to protect her, so they enter into a marriage of convenience. Very sweet. Forced proximity, marriage of convenience, strangers to lovers. Like, when they entered into their marriage of convenience, they were all but strangers. Like, So love that. And then third book is a famous actress, and she believes that her biological father is a witness or a federal agent or something on the ranch. She doesn't know. So she comes to the ranch under a fake identity. The heads of the ranch know. It's kind of complicated, just read it. But she ends up falling for the foreman. Ah, so sweet. And then the last book is the two guys from the first book's younger sister and the federal agent assigned to her. And they've been falling for each other. It's an age gap. It's brother's best friend. He's been gone for 4 years. She doesn't know why. When you find out why, oh my God. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. So anyway, they fall for each other as they're road tripping back for her to be the star witness in this case. It's very exciting. So love Redemption Ranch, and I've read that since we last chatted. That swept the Page and Print Awards. Like, loved her. Read Crazy in Love by Laura Pavlov. I've been talking about it over and over again. Y'all don't know Rosewood River like I know Rosewood River. Like, the way I love the Rosewood River series by Laura Pavlov needs to be studied. It is the perfect, quintessential small town rom-com series. And when I say rom-com, I am laughing out loud, tears running down my face. I think that this family that this book series follows is the funniest family on the planet. The audiobooks for this have been hit after hit after hit. First book, workplace. They're both lawyers. It's boss's daughter, mentor, apprentice type situation. Hate to love. Second book, my favorite in the series, fake dating, sunshine, sunshine, grand gestures. She karate chops him in the throat, and that's how they meet. Love to see it. Book 3 is workplace, coach's daughter, forced proximity, hockey player, strength and conditioning coach. Why, yes. Fourth book, hate to love. This is where we are. Hate to love. He thinks that she is responsible for writing this town paper, like gossip column, and is like really mean to her about it. It's not her, by the way. And he's convinced it is. So anyway, in an effort to kind of make that up to her, but also because he's kind of intrigued by her, he hires her to be his interior designer because she's trying to get her interior design business off the ground, and he's a billionaire. Of course. A grumpy billionaire. And she's the sunshine interior designer who he's hated. It's amazing. I loved it. Audio, again, phenomenal. I'm starting today, as we speak, the next book in the series in a heartbeat, so I will report back. But you need to read this series. It's so good. Cowboy Casual. Cowboy. Second Chance. Holly Renee. My first Holly Renee book at that. I loved it. I loved it. She is returning home. Okay? Because she found out that the fiance, that her like really toxic, bad, horrible dad, kind of like hand selected for her, but kind of not, was cheating on her with his assistant. Of course. And so she goes to the small Tennessee town that she's from to kind of touch grass, if you will. And the second she gets there, she sees her high school ex, who left her for a reason that we're not quite understanding yet. And then it comes to find out he has a daughter. Yeah, dude. He has a daughter, and he ends up needing help with childcare a little bit. And her grandmother was the one who was kind of helping, but her grandmother kind of meddles and gets her to help with the daughter. Well, and you know where this is going. You know where this is going. It was so good. I loved it. I was sat. I ate it up. Cowboy Casual, Holly Renee. Then I read Mate by Allie Hazelwood. Yeah. Omegaverse? Let me think. Yeah. I'm in. I want it. Give it to me now. I don't know why this book had me in a chokehold, but it did. There was something in this book that like kept me on a leash until I finished it. I did the audio. I could not put it down. It's Omegaverse. It is fated mates. It is forced proximity of protection. I don't know what Allie Hazelwood puts in her books, but it should be studied, and it is frightening. I loved it. I ate it up. I loved it. Sue me. I loved it. Mate, you're so famous to me. If you've read Bride and haven't read Mate yet, you should. Who doesn't like a werewolf moment? I do. Okay. Fine. I'll talk about it. I read Secret Haven by Catherine Cowles. Secret Haven was a page in print darling this year, dare we say. Secret Haven by Catherine Cowles is unlike anything. It is 5 books worth of tension, 5 books and 15 fictional years worth of yearning between foster siblings. Hear me out. Everyone, don't scroll. Stay. Don't fast forward. I promise it's not what you think. They met and fell for each other in high school. And they finally admitted their feelings and had a moment together. And that very evening, skip forward, I guess, if you don't want spoilers. That very evening, he gets placed in foster care with her family. And that is like the only place he can go. And one of the only places willing to accept him due to some activities he was involved in. And so they had to pretend like nothing was going on so that he could stay with the family. So they had to like put their feelings aside for his safety and for him. Like, it was a very serious situation, rightfully so. Like, very serious, right choice. However, they never stopped loving each other. Like, never. Ever. And you're going to read about it. And I'm not kidding. I wept through this book. And I'm a very emotional person, but I don't cry through books the way I cried through this one. Like, it was so moving, so emotional, so beautiful. He's a tattoo artist. She's a social worker. He ends up taking custody of his 3 younger sisters he didn't even know existed. And they enter into a marriage of convenience to make him look better on paper for this adoption or for this foster care situation. Like, come on. Picture me weeping, crying, obsessed with this book. Can you read it as a standalone? I get this question so often. Sure, you could. And it will be an incredible book. However, you get so much lore between the two of them, tension between the two of them, yearning between the two of them in the rest of this series. And the rest of the series is phenomenal, by the way. So I would say, if you dare, read the whole series. It's going to be worth it. The tension snapping between these two after 5 books. 5 books, dude. 5. It's worth it. Okay. Lovely. Back-to-back bangers. High Sticking the Heart by Marie M. Oh. New MMC unlocked. New top MMC unlocked. I love this man. He's a Southern gentleman. He's a hockey player. He wears cowboy hats and cowboy boots. Enough said, right? Right. But I'll keep going, just for you. This book was so fascinating to me. So she gets a new job as the strength and conditioning coach of this professional hockey team. She's in town. Night before her work starts, she goes out with her cousin because her cousin finally convinced her to hit the town, hang out. Why not? And she meets our MMC. She meets him and they hit it off. So they go grab dinner. But the problem? The paparazzi caught a photo with them. And the next morning she shows up to work and they realize, oh, we work together. Great. And then she gets called into the office and there's a rule not against people dating in the organization, but having dated prior and then breaking up and then joining the organization. They feel like that's too tricky. That's the rule. And so she's like, actually, everyone, pause. We're still dating. And they said, pardon? And she said, yeah, we're still dating. Yeah. And so she like runs to him and it's actually a really funny scene because he's still in the shower and she like runs through the locker room and goes up to him and is like, hey, hi, hello, you're my boyfriend. And it's beautiful. He's like the ultimate golden retriever. She's pretty black cat as well. And then like their forced proximity, their feelings unfold. It's so beautiful. So it's fake dating, workplace forbidden. Yeah. Like, I can't, I'm at a loss for words. I love this book. And you have to listen to the audiobook. You have to. He has a Southern accent. I don't make the rules, but you have to listen to the audiobook. Okay, I'm gonna move on, but we're on the same page. You're gonna read High Sticking the Heart. Phenomenal. Okay. Half-Light Harbor, Samantha Young. Romantic suspense girls, stand up, come to the front, come forward. I have a new series for you. Samantha Young is one of my favorite romantic suspense authors of all time. I actually found her, and I've told this story before on the podcast, but I'm going to reiterate. The reason I found Samantha was because I had gotten caught up on Catherine Cowell's backlog at the time. She hadn't even released Ashes of You from the Lost and Found series. And I was like, okay, well, now what? Because this is my favorite genre. So now what? And she had recommended on her story to read There With You by Catherine Cowles, which is the second book in the Adair family series. So I started the Adair family series by Samantha, and that's like a 9-book interconnected saga between 2 series. Okay. Loved it. Ate it up. Everything to me. 5 stars. Stunning. Samantha now has a new romantic suspense series. And here we are. It is called, what is it called? The Scottish Isles series. There we go. Because she had the Highland series and now the Isle series. Yes, they're Scottish. Yes, they're broody. Yes, they wear kilts. Yeah, like, it's so good. This one, first one, she ends up moving to the Scottish Isles to open a bed and breakfast. But she needs help building it, obviously, and so he's part of the team that's helping build it. And he's super reclusive. Like, lives on a, like, one-person island, super reclusive. And nobody knows anything about him other than he's a little bit older and grumpy. Very serious. When you find out why he is so reclusive, I'm usually pretty good at guessing things. Like, usually. I'm like, well, obviously it's this. Like, in a suspense, I, in fact, pride myself on trying to and hopefully getting it right, guessing things. I was so far off the mark on this book. Like, so far off the mark. And I was so beautifully, pleasantly, shockingly surprised. So, anyway, yeah, he has secrets, and he's going to protect her. Because someone's coming after her, because the death of her parents might not have been an accident. Okay. Pick up the book. Romantic suspense lovers, why have you not read? Why have you not read Half-Light Harbor? What's going on? What's going on? Okay, read it. Next. What else do I want to tell you? Oh my gosh. Guys, I read so many good books since we last talked. I cannot believe this. When We Fall, Lena Hendricks. Come closer. Reverse age gap. He's the nanny. They live in a duplex, and the walls are very thin. They can hear each other. Yeah. Like, yeah. The daughter is laugh out loud funny. There's this, like, particular through line through the book where she is, like, on the playground. They are playing, like, fairies and fae, and she's, like, discussing fae law and fae practices, and it's this, like, little girl. Like, kindergarten, first grade girl. It is so funny. Like, she's a hoot, and he is the funny guy. Well, we know how I feel about the funny guy. We know how I feel about the funny guy. And he's the funny guy, and of course, his internal monologue is going to tear you apart. It's always the funny guys who are always emotionally devastating. Riddle me that. The funnier they are, the more concerning their backstory is. And they're my favorite type of character. Okay, and should I unpack it with a professional? Sure. Will I? Probably. But, like, I'm gonna move on. He, like, repeatedly is like, I'm the funny guy and no one picks me first. I'm the funny guy and that's all I'm ever gonna be. I'm not deep enough, or, like, dare I just say, like, enough for someone to pick me first. Oh, I've been shot. Like, what? Devastating. So beautiful. She's a single mom who's been, like, just doing it all, trying to keep it together, trying to make ends meet. She has a really cool job. I'm gonna butcher this, but I'm gonna try. She, like, specializes in restoring historic paper products, like museum artifacts. Very fascinating. That's not, like, a huge part of the plot, but I just think that's a cool job. Anyway, loved that book. I love the Star Harbor series. Small coastal Michigan ghost town. Yeah, count me in. Count me in. So, love that book. 5 stars. No notes. What else? Oh, I read The Hennington Brothers by Corinne Michaels. The one, the only, Corinne. It is set in Bell Buckle, Tennessee. I too am from Tennessee. And what's really funny about this, maybe it's only funny to me, is I was driving back from a weekend with Molly Goins listening to this audiobook, and it's set in Bell Buckle, and I was driving through Bell Buckle, and it was the craziest immersive reading experience of my life. I was like, oh my God, I'm reading this book and I'm here. It was crazy. So anyway, these books are crazy high angst. Like Corinne Michaels back in the day, because this is like one of her older series, like she put herself through it to write these angsty books, dude. Like, and she was on the podcast a few weeks ago and was talking about how emotionally attached she is to her books, but not in like the book sense, but in the writing process. Like she feels everything so deeply, and that very much so informs the way the stories go, to the point where she had to make the decision not to write angst the way she used to. And when she told me that on the podcast, I was like, okay, like, I don't know what that means. Now I know what that means. If you like super clean, clear cut, no third act breakup romance, early Corinne's probably not going to be your truth. But if you love angst, if you love drama, if you love tea, read The Henningtons. Read Corinne Michaels from a few years ago. Like, it is crazy. It's crazy. Definitely check your content warnings for sure. For sure. Next, Rare Blend by Michelle Naomi Mosley. We're at a winery. Of course. We're at a winery, and she is moving to the town that her dad lives in because she's amidst a breakup and a job search and all these things. She's kind of having to start her life over. So she moves into this bungalow on this winery's property. Well, he lives in the bungalow next door, and he is so grumpy. Like, so grumpy. But he's the CEO of this winery, and he doesn't know what she's doing there, and no one told him that she was going to be there, and so he's a lot unkind when they first meet, and in many ways is having to make up for that. And again, total flip side of the funny guy, he's grumpy for very good reason. The world has hardened this man, and I loved it. Forced proximity. She ends up working for the town paper that her dad owns, and then the question becomes, does she need the big city after all? I'm gonna let you find out, but I think you know the answer. It was so good. It was so cute. And then the next book I'm so intrigued to read. It's romantic suspense, per my last email. I love romantic suspense. So yeah, there's that. I read Dreaming of a Cowboy Christmas. I had the incredible opportunity to beta this book. Beta reading, by the way, is like reading it on its second draft, and you kind of can help inform the author of any like developmental consistencies. Think like, hey, you were just in the car, but now you're saying you're sitting in the office chair. Or, I don't love that this character did this. Same goes for what we call an alpha read, which is like the very first draft. So if you're ever wondering, if you already know this, well, now you double know. Okay, speaking of Corinne Michaels, I did 2 Corinne Michaels books back to back. Don't be mad at me. Neither of them are out yet. But first was Come What May. It comes out on January 20th. So you don't have that long. And maybe we'll talk about it at the end of this month. How about that? But for now, what I will tell you, best friend's dad, age gap, client publicist, they didn't know, and they had a one-night stand. He's a rancher. They're temporary roommates. Like, it's everything you think it is and everything you want it to be. So love that. And then I read West of Forever, which comes out in June, and it's the first book in her brand new series. Y'all aren't ready. You're not ready. Corinne's back in her cowboy bag. Yes, thank goodness. Crushed by Love by Nina Verona. Y'all, I'm still thinking about this book. It rocked me. It is super, super angsty. It is a Romeo and Juliet retelling. It is angsty. It is messy. There's twin brothers. She's falling for one. She's actually the maid for the summer for the family. There's like a bit of a love triangle element, but it's the kind of love triangle where it's like, you know exactly who she's going to end up with. which is the only love triangle that I am willing to read because I'm so sensitive and I don't like falling for one of the characters and then being wrong. Again, I will unpack that with a professional at a different time, but this is one of the ones where it's like, okay, it's very clear who the MMC is, and the triangle element is very short-lived. So, anyway, super high angst, though. Very high tension. And I still think about this book. Like, it's one of the most unique books I read of the year, and I loved it. So, love that one. Good Spirits by B.K. Borson. I'll probably end up needing to talk about that next year because it's not Christmas anymore. But it was so good. I loved it. Audio was great. Silver Shadows by Tilly H. Colson. Another Page and Print Awards darling. Another angsty number. Oh my gosh. He has amnesia. Well, they break up. Let's start there. First chapter. They've been together for the whole series on and off secretly because he's her brother's best friend. And they were Navy SEALs together. And that's not why they broke up. They broke up for another reason you're going to find out at the beginning of the book. And I'll let you find it out. They break up. He goes out on a run. He gets attacked, shot, and wakes up with amnesia, doesn't remember that they broke up. Yeah. And so because, like, for the integrity of the case against who shot them and all the things, they're like, do not jog his memory. Let it come back to him on his own. And so this whole found family, they're trying to do the right thing, but they're telling May, our FNC, like, you're just going to have to pretend everything's okay. That's that. Okay. Another 5-star read. We're getting to the end here. Role play. Kay Cove. Come to the front. I say it about Kay every time I talk about her books on this podcast, but it's so important. Her books cannot be boiled down to tropes. She writes such complex, emotionally intelligent stories that saying, like, for example, this book, he's a professional escort. He's also a single dad. And those two things feel very odd when you just say them. But there's, like, such good reason for what he does. And it has to do with protecting his daughter and all of these things. And another thing to note about roleplay, he remains monogamous with her for the entire book. Like, it's not one of those things where he's still out doing his job while they're together. Like, he's monogamous throughout the whole book. So that was so interesting, like, just such an interesting take. But she's a romance author, and he, after like a really, really strange meet cute for the second time evening, he's like, okay, well, if you're struggling, I will role play popular book tropes with you for you to be able to write your next romance book. Ah, how cute. How cute is that? It was so well done, so thorough. I really enjoyed the audiobook. He ends up actually moving him and his daughter into her, like, brownstone she inherited because her dad is a professional author, but he's like so famous and she is not, and her dad, like, refuses to help her, like, in her career at all. So that's another interesting element. Like, it's just so interesting, and it unpacks, like, the author influencer dynamic a little bit and just the author's relationship with writing to the market. Like, so fascinating, so good. I love this book. And y'all, I cannot wait for the second book in the series, the MMC. Oh, the funny guy. And yes, he has a tragic backstory. Yeah, like, I can't wait. So there's that. Read Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal, Megan Quinn. Had a blast. Audiobook, full cast. Everything I wanted. So good. Last book I'll talk about is Bluebird Gold, Devaney Perry. Devaney, you've done it again. Raising the bar every time. Like, wow. Devaney released 3 books last year. All 3 of them top books of the year for me. Like, wow. Bluebird Gold, romantic suspense set in 1983, and she is returning to this small Montana town to settle her father's estate, who has passed. However, there are some strange things going on that lead her to believe that her dad did not pass by accident. Okay. And so she's kind of looking into it, and then she ends up sort of continually bumping into the town sheriff because she thinks someone's outside of her house and someone's kind of stalking her, and because she is the new to town math teacher, and the former math teacher was not doing a good job. So now all the students are failing the class because they don't know the material, but all the parents are mad that the students are failing the class. So anyway, he comes in to like talk about his son's grades. And so they're meeting both professionally and then for him as a father. And she ends up having to stay with them because of something that happened at her house, which I won't spoil for you. But there's that forced proximity element. And then there's the suspense of like, what actually did happen to her dad? And another element of like her dad seemingly was looking for gold, like had found a way to find gold. And so they're like, is there gold? So it's like mystery, suspense, single dad. He has a mustache. He's the town sheriff. I mean, mustache town sheriff. We all love to see it. And their characters were just so cozy. I loved this book. And the cover, stunning. What more could we want? That is all you've missed, really. And for this to have been 12 weeks, that's not like the most books I've ever read. I'm super excited to be back into reading, to be back on a better schedule, to be back with the podcast. Guys, I missed you. I miss you dearly, and I'm so happy to be here. So, thank you so much for your patience as I was taking a step back, doing a reset, building my business, all of those things. And I'm so happy to be back. Like, truly so happy to be back. And if you have any podcast episodes that you would like to see from me, please holler. Like, please let me know. It is always so helpful when I know what you all want from me and I can give it to you. So shoot me a DM, send me an email, whatever you would like. Contact pageandprint@gmail.com or at page.inprint on all platforms. Yes, I'm so happy to be back. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being a part of my 2025 and going into 2026. I am just truly so grateful for each and every one of you, for this platform, for this job. And I hope that we can grow together this year. It's going to be amazing. But thank you as always for spending your time with me. And I'll see you in the next one.